listeners of the Mad Scientist Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Cogswell, here with a special patron bonus episode. First off, patrons, thank you so much for supporting the show, as always. It has been particularly amazing this month. We've got a lot of new patrons. We've got a huge amount of support from patrons, and it's just been super amazing. It's been really great and a lot of fun. And so I hope that this patron video finds you well. I hope that you're excited for Halloween, as excited as I am. And I hope you're ready for a bunch of new episodes dropping of the Mad Scientist Podcast, and hopefully a bunch of new episodes of this patron special content. I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself here with these videos, but I thought it'd be cool to do one on our upcoming episode, which is the history of Halloween. Halloween is my absolute favorite holiday. It's a day that I seriously get excited for in the summer. The minute that I feel that first cold autumn air and see that first leaf change, I'm freaking out. I'm super excited. And I really think Halloween, for me, has become my favorite holiday because of just family kind of stuff, family connections to the holiday itself. My family, I've said on the show, is Italian, is from Italy, in fact. Well, my mom is. My dad is from Canada, so, a lot of strong Canadian traditions there. But the Italian, in Italy, Halloween isn't really celebrated, right? It's a holiday. It is a holy day. It's a church holiday, right? It's All Hallows Eve. It's All Saints Day, and the night before. But when I was a kid, my dad loved Halloween. My aunt and uncle loved Halloween. It was amazing. And growing up in New York City for Halloween, when I was a kid in the 90s and early 2000s, it was craziness. Like, you couldn't walk down the street on Halloween after 6 o'clock without getting clobbered with an egg or shaving cream. And it was a weird day where, like, you went to school that day usually, it was pretty normal, and then you'd get home and things just went crazy, And there's only a couple of days in the calendar that are fun like that, where you get to break so many rules, like, there's no cars in the street because everyone's throwing shaving cream and eggs, so you can just walk around the streets. You can knock on people's doors. You can dress up however you want and play with ninja swords and plastic things all night and whatever. And it was just amazing. It was my favorite holiday. And today as an adult, I'm always trying to capture that initial kid spirit of what Halloween was and how much fun it was. But the history of Halloween is frankly a really detailed subject, and it's one that there isn't a huge amount of scholarly work that's accessible to the average person on the history of Halloween. It dates back to much earlier holidays of Celtic traditions, of traditions of veneration of the dead. Every culture has a day of veneration where they go to the graves of their relatives, or they think about their relatives and those that have come before them and try to honor them in some way. And, we're no exception in the West. We have those days too, but we've kind of morphed them into, in a weird way, like a celebration of horror, of this thing of death that scares us all so much. And because of that, it's such a strange thing to really think about what we're celebrating on Halloween, right? We're celebrating those that came before. We're celebrating those things that scare us, because horror at some of these common fears that all humans have, the fear of death, the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of violence, right? All of these fears are pretty common to all of us. And in some ways, they're things that put us together in a way that we don't really see with a lot of other things. This episode we kind of did as a roundtable / full episode. We kind of did a little bit of intro in the beginning, just because after listening to it, I felt like we could put more of a structured history there. We kind of just talked about random myths and things that we thought were fun. So if you listening to this patron bonus or listening to the episode would like a longer history of Halloween episode or maybe some articles or things, I'm all for that. Just let me know. As with anything, if you want an episode on something specific, just let us know. In fact, we have a really interesting upcoming episode that we're currently doing research on, that the idea for it, and actually one of the primary research pieces for it, was given to us by a patron, by Robert, who sent us The Secret Life of Trees. I think the book was called The Language of Trees. It's a really, really good book. I highly suggest you pick it up. It was fascinating. It's on Audible, which is actually how I listened to it. And it's this idea that trees are much more communicative, are much more a living organism than we usually like to think with spirits, right? Or with spirits, like we usually like to think with plants, right? So, anyways, I'm really excited for that episode. I hope you are too. Anyways, that's it for this patron bonus content episode. I'm going to try to record like 5 more of them right now and then hopefully edit them and get them online as well as this episode. So we'll see what happens. Thank you again for being a patron, for supporting the show, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.